Gather round, for I only tell a fable once. This be the tale of pirates, so legendary that those who sail the 12 seas still revere their names.
A warlock of the Unseelie Court, Wikipe Weatherby.
A swashbuckler on the run, Kildak of Flan.
And a warrior on a quest to reclaim her scepter, Tana the Fierce.
Avast ye for the Gilded Voyage. Ahoy, me hearties, and welcome back to the final episode of the Gilded Voyage. Yar! It has been a pleasure and an honor to share this adventure with everybody. Oh man, are our players ready? Are we ready for this?
No, absolutely not.
I want to cling to Tawny as long as I can.
God. The players have extensively coordinated with me on what they want their happily ever afters to look like, and have coordinated nothing with each other. So they have no idea what each other is about to do this last episode. Last, we left our captains of the Depressed Guppy. The Queen of Sea and Darkness was defeated. Zostam was sent screaming into the abyss, and the remainder of the fleet from Hangman's Cove rallies around the Guppy. Per our captain's request, they pile as many pirates as they possibly can onto the Depressed Guppy and sail back to Tamokor. Arriving on the beaches, most of the fleet has not seen the beauty of Tamokor, enthralled by the magic and wonder of the island, and with a warm greeting from the Forever Girl, you drop the anchor and the crews all row into shore to begin a celebration that they are not dead, the world is in fact not ending, and we are victorious as a fleet. I'll turn it over to the players for a minute, and for however you want to celebrate in beautiful Tamokor.
Let's go dancing. And I'm gonna reach out to take Kildak's hand and one of Wikipe's hands and try to lead them into the beaches where I'm sure people have started to play. Maybe Admiral is going hard at it.
Oh, absolutely. The Admiral, different pirates from other ships begin to play their tunes. The crew of the Royal Turncoat begins to intermingle with the other crews as they find new matches of where they're going to go next. But it is a revelry. Everybody is dancing. The Forever Girl joins in the mix and is dancing as everyone is just happy to be alive.
I'm gonna take a drink and just be like, cheers to the Depressed Guppy!
To the Guppy! Kildek, you feel nothing from the drink.
Oh, no.
I forgot.
You all right there, Kildek?
No.
Oh,
None of this is working.
Working?
it's not working.
It's not working.
Someone broke the rum.
Someone broke the rum.
I'm gonna take a
feel-
sip of his drink. No,
It tastes like
that's mortal people's rum.
I am as sober and elated, but sober as I've ever been.
Huh. Did something happen?
Well, a lot happened.
Somehow in the battle, you got immune to
Tony.
drunkenness?
Tony, I'll be honest. I levitated, and in the past, I exploded and turned into a sheep. Not in that order. I summoned unicorns. Like if that's possible to be immune to alcohol, what a terrible effect. It could have happened. I'd rather be a sheep, honestly. Sheep get drunk.
Be like,
Rather be a
okay.
sheep.
I'm gonna grab his shoulder, and I'm gonna do cleansing touch and dispel magic, and lesser restoration. Like as much as I got, because I don't know what it is. I'm just gonna like throw a bunch of different like paladin 5th level spells, level 20 features at him.
Does this hit me like mixing like pills? Like what does this feel like?
The very first thing that Tawny tries definitely works, and you immediately start to feel the effects of like the 4 bottles that you downed in like a minute, and then she just blasts you with just a bunch of more spells. And I think it's a wave of going from like feeling like you did before, to feeling good, to feeling like you just woke up from the best sleep ever, to feeling like you've had like 8 cups of coffee, to feeling like it just get like it's just more and more intense.
Heal him up all his hit points.
Yeah, you're like, I am both very like
heals.
I am both super intoxicated, and I have never felt more awake in my life. I can feel every hair on my body. I can see so well right now. I can taste the inside of my mouth. Like
what you're saying is cocaine.
Yeah. Tawny's effects are that of cocaine.
Gotcha.
Did it work, Kildak? How you feeling?
It worked.
Uh-huh.
Were you always that tall?
I just kind of like threw all the like cleansing, betterment, helpful stuff that I had at you.
That explains the alertness.
You know what I'll say? Aubrey, do you have your dice on you?
Yeah.
Yeah, roll. Give me.
The last campaign, no, I'm not gonna hold my dice.
Roll. Yeah.
Get dice.
Give me a roll. I want one roll.
A D20 roll?
Yeah, just give me a D20 roll.
Well, you got a 2.
Oh.
Big new dice.
Retire.
It's the new Gilded Voyage dice!
Retire them at the campaign.
He's crying. The first roll.
And I rolled a
retired.
nat 20 in our preset.
And that's why we don't pre-roll dice. You wasted the 20.
You blast Kildak with all this, and Kildak, you feel great. It does, however, take away your sexiness potion with the spell magic, and you're no longer sexy. And like when you pull your hand away, like Kildak looks happier, but it's just not as hot anymore.
Oh, I think I took it too far. Something's wrong with your face.
Oh, Kildak, what's wrong with you? You look like you need a nap.
Really? Because I feel so awake.
The Forever Girl's like, are they always this mean to you?
I'm gonna like tilt the scepter of Dame to show one of the crystals to show him his reflection using his
like you look normal.
Super important staff as a mirror. Look at yourself, Kildak.
I mean, why? And I'm just gonna touch myself and cast Alter Self, and use a sorcery point to make it last 24 hours. The cheap, sexy potion.
The cheap, sexy potion.
I can make myself look however. I could give myself horns, fangs, claws, whatever. I'm just putting myself back to sexy Kildak.
Perfect.
Yep, it's just back to sexy Kildak.
A little sexy Kildak. I love it.
Much better.
A little sexier. There you go.
Second level spell.
If you don't look like this every single time I see you, I'm no longer gonna recognize you.
We've grown accustomed to to having another hot member aboard.
In addition to Marcus.
She threw another in there.
Honey is canonic.
That's it. Yeah.
She's canonic.
So hot.
I think you need another
Especially
shot.
now that she's in like her godlight thing and she's got like the deep purple hair, like you were looking at her and you're like, that's scary hot right there.
It's
Scary hot.
Terrifyingly sexy.
She doesn't look human anymore. Like she's still in her mortal form, but like if you're looking at her, you're like, no, that's not a human. That's something else.
Something else.
Sir. Persona.
And then I'm gonna break it down on the dance floor and I'm gonna throw back out those moves from Red Rat Bay.
The moves from Red Rat Bay, yes. Tawny breaks out the moves from Red Rat Bay. Yeah, the crew, the goblins couldn't join in. If the goblins could have joined in, they would have.
They're dead.
They're all dead.
Oh, they couldn't make it. They're dead.
Oh, they didn't make it. Yeah, no, but the pirates
Just
absolutely love it.
spitting on the floor with Forever Girl. Like the two of us, we're just like twirling around each other. I'm just like spinning her around. She's having a ball.
I love it. That's excellent.
Codex just driving in the corner.
Drive it in the corner. Yeah, the party lasts a indeterminate amount of time as Tamokor, the sun never rises and sets, and time doesn't matter. And so everyone parties until they cannot party anymore, until people pass out on the beaches.
I'm going around healing people to just like give them another extra leg. Like the people who are dropping first and getting too tired, I'm like,
They get their second wave.
here's 5 hit points. You can keep dancing.
What's
Go.
That's a spell, right? It's like forcible dance or something like that.
Yeah,
Yes.
irresistible dance.
I don't
Irresistible
have that.
dance. Oh, okay.
I'm not forcing people to dance, but if they're just too tired, I'm just like giving them
a
enough
second
to
dance.
keep- Yeah.
Here's health. Now dance.
Me. Oh yeah. People dancing on the beach, people swimming. You have people. The Forever Girl eventually goes and shows some of the people to her like tree hut that she built. They're swinging from the trees. There's zip lining down the zip lines. Just absolutely being
Solid party.
rambunctious and joyful and
Oh, I
running
want
around
to
the
start
island.
taking people in my dragon form and lifting them up above the ocean, and then just like dropping them like a diving board.
Yes.
Ooh, do me.
I'm gonna grab her, take her, like, tell me when to stop. And just go up and up and up and up. And I'm
Oh, it's a
gonna be like,
competition.
okay, I think this is as high as you can go without breaking every bone.
Okay, awesome. Woo!
Oh,
Do
beautiful.
a flip. No, a flip. A flip. Not a flop. Not a flop.
No.
One of the times I take someone too high and have to like quickly like speed down and catch them before they hit.
I like the idea of them hitting the water and like breaking their legs. You know, it's like, and Tawny flies and just heals them back up, and they're like, okay,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
We still got this.
pain doesn't matter. Oh my god,
Oh my god, we're in a world without pain or time.
no pain, no time. It's a child's dream. People just begin to act like children, and they love it.
Yeah. Now I know why Forever Girl doesn't leave. Why would we ever leave?
Our
Let's
only
just stay
limitation is rum.
There's no sugar cane on the island.
I can create food and water. Can I concentrate that spell to just be rum? I'm just like
Just manufacture rum.
Why?
No, I'm gonna.
This will never
I did
end.
If I do that, then everybody's happily ever after's change. Everyone just stays at Tamokor. Nobody leaves. No, you cannot create infinite rum. I will let you be a literal god, but I draw the line at infinite rum. Like, that's too
I
powerful.
turn a little bit of water to rum. Just a little bit of water
Just
to
a
rum.
little bit. Just a little
Just a
bit.
little bit.
I'll let you deal 102 damage to a boss twice.
Hey,
But too much rum, infinite rum, no go. That's broken mechanic. It's
those were
busted.
straight rules.
Those were straight rolls.
I mean, the one was a crit, but with
One,
inspiration.
one may have been a crit, but Oh, excellent. Yeah. The party goes on. The party begins to slow down, not from lack of enjoyment, but from lack of energy. People being just lay on the beach and fall asleep, knowing that when they wake up, then they can just do it all over again. Yeah. What are our captains doing?
Kildak's gonna sneak away and just kind of like pull the Forever Girl with him and be like, "Hey, like, can you show me where he buried that gold?" And I'm gonna pull out my map and kind of show, like, put the pieces down on the ground because it was ripped to so many pieces.
Why'd you rip it up?
I didn't rip it. It was torn. Anyways, and like kind of assemble the puzzle. Can you take me here?
Sure. And she goes like just skipping down the beach towards the spot you pointed to.
And I follow her, and I'm like, I start like, oh, like I'm just following her, and then I pause. I'm like, shit, shovel. Fuck it, and just follow her.
You get to the spot that she shows you, and she's like, "This is the spot that was on your map." And you see it's this little like raised beach that looks over the shimmering water, always reflecting the night sky. And by miraculous coincidence, the part that she points to, where you see the sand has been upturned a little bit and it's mixed with more dirt and mud from the outside world than it should. Right next to it is
A shovel.
is in fact a shovel, which has been like stood upright next to a pile of rocks, which have been laid and piled upon each other to bury Captain Lacrone. And you see Captain Lacrone's grave, and the shovel that Marcus had used to bury him is still here. But you see, like, right next to it is this spot of, like, unturned
Marcus is so stupid.
dirt.
He buried it like 2 feet south of the gold. Like,
Yeah. Didn't find it. I was like, what's like the Marcus thing to do? Marcus's thing is to get so close to being lucky and then just not get it. Yeah.
Oh, Marcus.
you sure this is the spot?
I think so.
That was a lot less confident than you were like maybe 5 seconds ago.
Okay, so it's definitely the spot that was on your map. I just think it's the spot he buried the treasure. I don't know.
Okay, thanks. You
It was
can
a
go
long
back to
time
partying.
ago.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. You can go back to partying. Thank you.
Yes! And then she runs and like begins to fly again back to the party.
And I guess I start shoveling. Have you ever tried to use a shovel one hand?
I have not.
It's not easy.
It's not easy.
It's,
I've asked for help.
honestly, it might be easier to just dig by hand rather than use the shovel. It's just sand, right? Like, how hard can it be?
It's just
Put
sand.
your feet into it a little with the shovel.
Can I, from all the way back on the ship, see that Kildek has run off? See him all the way down the shore with a shovel in one hand, trying to figure this out. Can I send Mage Hand down the beach to go assist him?
Sure. This ghostly hand comes floating by and puts another hand on the shovel and just kind of helps you wield it.
Thanks, Wikipy.
No problem, buddy.
There we go. We're scooping the dirt in the
Yeah.
sand.
You go about 2 feet down and you uncover a trapdoor.
Oh. That's not what I was expecting at all.
No. You pull the trapdoor open.
I didn't say all that.
Oh, okay.
No, I do. Continue.
You're just gonna walk away? That's not what I was expecting.
Fuck. Damn it.
I wanted a nice chest. This is a door.
We'll do this step by step. You open the trapdoor. There's a ladder that goes to complete darkness.
I climb down the ladder.
You get to the bottom of the ladder, and there is a torch at the bottom of the ladder.
I have dark vision. Yeah, fuck.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, that's clever. You had dark vision. You get to the bottom, and you see that there is a cave that leads a little deeper into the island.
This is so not what I was expecting. And I grab the torch anyways and start walking.
Yeah, you grab the torch. Do you light the torch?
Oh yeah, sorry. I imagined it was one of those like eternally lit flames.
Gotcha.
But no,
Time doesn't really.
You would think.
I'll light it and take it with me.
Cool.
I'll use the hammer from my flintlock to light it because that's cool.
Excellent. I thought you were going to use a cantrip, but that's fine. I do like the hammer from the flintlock, though. You walk through this cave, and you just go far enough that you lose sight of the ladder. Not very far. And it opens up wide. And what you see before you, glimmering in the light of your torch, well, I'll just go down the list. You see mountains of gold and treasure. You see the entire collection of Van Poedel's artwork of the Pantheon. This very famous artist has done like beautiful, like life-size portraits of all the gods, and has the full display of the entire collection. You see, as you walk around, there are chests that have diagrams for magic items, eldritch machines, doomsday devices, transplanar vehicles, just like all with like their original, like their original architect's like signature on it. Some of them are like very like flamboyantly signed in a way that like, oh, this is meant for presentation, like this is like their official thing. Other ones are like scribbles and notes and scraps of someone's notebook that have been put together to be these things. Priceless diagrams these are. You see that there is a section of the cave that has formed like a natural shelf, and on this shelf there are a collection of 5 or 6 snow globes, and as you look inside they have like little cities in them, and the closer you look you realize that they're like actual cities, like there are people moving around in them, like there's like little stuff, like someone has shrunk a city down and put them in a snow globe, and you got like 5 or 6 of these things. You see there are
This isn't what I was expecting at all. And you said they're snow globes?
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
Don't do it. No.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Stop! Don't do it.
Do it. Do it. You want to so bad.
You immediately are gonna kill all these people?
Do it. You want to do it.
Find
The whole
yourself
city.
the richest man. The richest
do
man
it.
in the Stonefall Scatter. The best pirate. And you're like, you know what I'm gonna do first? I'm gonna
it.
kill a whole city.
Shake
A whole
it.
city.
Shake it.
Maybe it's just enchanted to look alive.
Shake it.
I'll put it back. I can't.
Oh.
There were 2 voices in my head, and I couldn't pick.
You put it down. It jostles a little bit, and you see that like a little like a slight rain forms to the top and like rains down on the city.
Okay. Crops will have a good season.
You continue to look around. There are like piles of just stuff in here. You see that there is a taxidermy hydra, a taxidermy yeti, and a taxidermied giant brain that is like 3 times your size, like just massive, just a huge brain.
Is it squishy?
You poke it, yeah, it's squishy. I mean, it seems like dried, like it's been dried out, but it looks realistic. I mean, I don't know how taxidermy works, but
I mean, usually they remove the organs, don't taxidermy the organs.
Would be
So-
interesting, wouldn't it? How do you do the taxidermy brain? You look past the brain, and you see that in like a case, there is the actual crown jewels of Waterdeep, and
There-
huh? Would you look at that? And not counting all of the like priceless and exotic things in this room, in sheer gold, you count 8 million gold. You estimate to be 8 million gold pieces.
And yet Tawny wasn't allowed to create infinite room.
What's Kildak do?
Snow angels. It's gold angels.
Gold angels in the coins.
Should I kill the-
He jumps to like dive into it as though it were a pool and realizes it's still solid.
It's still, metal. Yeah. Yeah.
And then he does his
Absolutely.
best impression of a one-winged angel.
Aw.
Kildak makes this one-winged not snow angel, gold angel, and you are surrounded by these exotic and priceless treasure that Captain Emerald had hidden here.
I have no way of protecting any of this from anyone else.
To be fair, you did offer to divvy things up. You did promise gold to the other boats, but
You're so right, I did do that.
They don't think that there's gold anymore. They're happy to be alive.
I will grab 50,000 gold pieces, or my best estimation of 50,000
Sure.
gold pieces, and tuck it in every pocket and orifice that I can find, just to get it back to the top.
perfect. Yeah.
And I'll do
Yeah,
my best
absolutely.
to bury the trapdoor again, get that hidden again, and make it kind of look like, oh, maybe some sand was piled here from the grave that is there. Like,
Yeah.
people wouldn't have two holes next to each other. That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. Ooh, yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna take all 50,000 back, and I'm gonna just kind of like get towards the edge of the party and throw it in the air.
Oh yeah, the party reawakens as you throw 50,000 gold pieces on these people. It's more money than most of them have ever seen.
What did we determine the weight was? 50
lot.
coins weighed like 1 pound or something?
I think so.
Just
So 1,000 pounds of gold? That was, I don't know why I used a calculator. That was very simple math.
I have 1,000.
How did I get it there? Whatever.
Don't ask questions.
it's the HEA. It's
Yeah.
you did it.
You
It's like
Wild-
when mothers lift cars up off their babies because of the adrenaline. Like instead, it's just Kildak seeing this much gold, and he's like, "Oh yeah."
Oh, that's amazing. God, yes. The crews are elated. I'm so excited. While Kildak is throwing his gold party, we'll go to Wikipedia. What is Wikipedia doing?
I would like to grab Mr. Babbles Bobble out of his little crate, my little goblin,
Yes.
Right.
my little plump goblin, and I'm gonna take him off the ship, and I'm gonna go to Forever Girl's little treehouse. I'm gonna go inside, and I want to leave Babbles Bobble with her.
Perfect. You leave Babbles
Have a
Bobble.
party.
She looks at him. She has a big smile on her face, and she goes, "We're gonna play dress up." And, and Bevel just like big eyes looks up at her. His ears kind of flop down, but he's excited. He can eat. He gets everything that he wanted, and he'll be dressed up in all sorts of wonderful things.
I told you I'd see you again.
I knew. I know.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So,
what'd you learn on this last adventure? Anything good for me this time?
like, since yesterday?
I guess. I don't know when you do your learning.
When I do my learning.
I don't know when you do your learning.
To her, it's been like probably 16 days.
That's fair. I guess the last thing that I really learned was that you probably never want to offer your hand to a hag.
To a hag?
Yeah, the last time I gave my hand to a hag, she like immediately used it against me. And you can't just give anyone your hand. I thought just my hand was gonna be innocent. It was not.
What's a hag?
A hag is like a really old lady.
Ew.
Nasty.
Gross.
Yeah, well past her expiration date, but she's still
Blech.
around. Well, not anymore, but
Wow.
I'm sure there are others out there. Never give an old lady past her expiration date your hand.
Deal. And you see that she like runs to like one of her drawers and pulls out like a little journal, and she begins to like scribble into it that don't never give a hag, and in parentheses a really old lady your hand.
It's good advice.
And you can kind of see over her shoulder she has a couple other notes in there, along with like displacer beasts don't like blink dogs and they're afraid of them. There's another note that says boggles look scary but they really just need a hug, and another one that says quicklings are always willing to help you play a prank. And you just have like these little like notes in there that she's got in this little notebook. And yeah, she goes, well, thank you, I appreciate it. There anything else?
I don't know, but if I think of something, I'll let you know. I think that's the biggest thing I've learned in these last couple weeks. And I pull her in for a little hug.
She gives you a hug and she goes, what you gonna do now?
I don't know. I don't know the next time I'll see you. It may be a while.
Oh, are you gonna come back and visit?
I don't know.
You should come back and visit.
That sounds like an excellent idea, and I will do it the first opportunity I can.
I am full of excellent ideas and people should listen to me more often.
I agree.
And she comes back in and gives you another hug. And Babbles Bobble wobbles over and like hugs you both in the legs as well.
He has eaten way too much. He doesn't need to be fed for like a week.
The goblin looks up like eyes wide.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah, he's fine. See that blondness like pinch his little cheeks. He's fine.
He's like his body is a circle. Like he's got
yeah,
like,
he's round.
yeah,
He
he's
does
a
not
round.
eat anymore.
He's a circular goblin.
No, he's good.
Oh.
He will get into all of your snacks. You have to like lock up your cabinets, like keep an eye on him. He's a menace.
The fur girl just whispers into your ear. She goes, "Does he bounce?"
You can try.
Yes. We move away from the forever girl and Wikipedia. Tawny, what are you up to during this?
So I'm gonna head over to Ethra, who I would have probably
Yes.
had to force her a little bit to come on to here. I don't know what she's been doing as we've been partying for a bit.
She has been taking a short rest. She's been trying to calm herself down, gain some of her composure back. She does not join in the festivities, but she is both happy to be alive, happy that the world isn't ending, but also nervous of what that means for her. And so when you come, like, yeah, she's just kind of standing off at the edge of the party, just trying to do her own thing. Hopefully, Tawny will just forget about her, and then she can leave. But no, Tawny comes and finds her.
Nope. I stroll right up, and like, since I've gotten my scepter, the like radiance has always been very much around me. But I think that coming up to her, the stormy purple silver in my eyes, in my dragon eyes, in my mortal form, swirls a little bit harder. The lightning flickers just a little bit more intense. You ready, Ethra?
Yes, I can be ready. You did well up there, Dragon Warrior.
Thank you. You spell really helped. I'm glad we were able to do that and work together.
I agree. Good things happen when we work for each other's benefits, it looks like.
I think we have a lot more to do together.
That is truly wonderful that we get to work together more.
I can hear it in your voice. And then I'm gonna go, Wikipedia,
Yeah?
are you with the Forever Girl?
Yes, I am.
It's time to remove Ethra's shadow.
Oh, we're really going through with that? We're doing that?
Mm-hmm. Where should we meet you?
Well, hey, I mean, we're in the treehouse right now if you want to come up here. Or I can bring it down to you, but she's up here.
We'll be right there.
Okay. And I let the Forever Girl know that they're on their way over.
Ooh, fun! A shadow party.
And then
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
You take Ethra up to the treehouse.
oh, I carry her as a dragon.
Perfect. You carry her up to the treehouse. You land. The Forever Girl pulls out the stone knife and hands it to Ethra and goes, I'm so excited to see. I'm the only one who's ever actually cut their shadow off, so I don't actually know if this is going to work. And you see Ethra kind of like goes pale. And it's like, she's like, this? She turns to Dawn and goes, this is untested magic. You understand this, right? We're working on a hypothesis.
Okay. If you die, I'll bring you back.
It's a fate worse than death that I'm worried about. Oh boy. And she reaches down to her shadow that is splayed across the floor and like draws a line in the wood with the knife where the shadow meets her feet. And as she does, you see the shadow like peel away from her body and then immediately like take a lap around the room before shooting out the window into the forest. And she kind of like gasps as she does it, and you hear a "oh" gasp come from the window, and you turn your head, and there's like 3 or 4 pirates, Marcus and Pachipolly included, that have like climbed up to watch, and they just, oh shoot, she did it! Oh my god, she actually did it! Oh my god, I can't believe she cut her shadow off! Holy cow! One of the pirates like just passes out as she does it.
Aren't we in a tree?
Yeah, you fall
They're
out
like
of
the
tree.
next tree over.
Yeah, they're like, oh my god, she did it. Oh, shoot. And you see Ethra like takes a couple breaths before handing the knife back to the Forever Girl, turns to you and goes, it is done then.
You feel okay?
I feel no different than I did before, so I believe that's okay.
Right?
Forever Girl's gonna go, do you feel like a kid again? She goes, no. Oh. Maybe it didn't work for you then. She'll turn, Ethra will turn back to you and go, what is it that I'm supposed to do for you, my warrior Droop? Would she know that name? Would she know warrior Droop?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Tawny would have been using it enough.
Then that's what she refers to as.
Well, step 1 for you is to go find a way to remove the current Arcanus. And I am sure that won't be too difficult knowing everyone who stands behind you.
Pirates overthrowing the Thayan Empire. Never would have thought I would live to see the day.
You don't have to use pirates, and you don't even have to use me, but you will accomplish this, however you deem necessary. And then, once you become Arcanus, your first step will be to free all of the Neels, and you will take everything that the Red Wizards are doing against the people and remove it. And remove the thing against Rum.
Yeah.
It makes them, they don't think as well. You don't do your best work when they're around. It's a distraction.
Girl, they're all hiding Rum. Everyone has it hidden.
It will be done. May I leave now?
You may. Just know, I will be back to check in on you, to make sure that you are going along with our new alliance. But also, if you need me, if something bad is happening, find a way to reach out.
Find a way.
I will.
Not,
Sure, I
here's
will.
how you can contact me. Not. here's-
Find a
here's-
single there's no way
Find
they
a
don't
way.
have a single person who doesn't have sending. Like, it's not that hard.
Sure.
Just
I will be sure to stay in touch. She's gonna look over to the Forever Girl on Wikipedia and go, what is the way back to Red Rat Bay again?
I don't know.
Forever Girl goes, 4 times clockwise around that tree. And she points to a tree down by the beach. And she goes, so be it. And she strides out of the treehouse and takes a hesitant step off of the platform and then begins to hover fairly gracefully back towards the beach. Fergal crosses her arms and goes, my way to fly is more fun.
I'm gonna call out to Ethra as she's going. Be like, Ethra, remember
Yes.
the good that you helped do today. That is what you will stand for now. And that is what I know you can accomplish.
She'll give a nod and then return to going back towards the tree.
That tree
Bye.
does have a scrap of rope tied around it.
Yes, it does. You actually see that that Forever Girl sent her to a different tree, and she flies around it like a couple times. And Forever Girl's like, I gave her the wrong tree.
So
It's
many
the other
trees.
tree.
Ethra, it's the other one. Sorry. The one with the rope.
Labeled with a rope, Ethra. Jeez.
It is.
Why would a rope label it as Red Rat Bay?
Do you see any other trees here with a rope tied around it?
All the trees in the forest have a treehouse in it.
Oh, well, this one just has a single piece of rope. Get
Oh.
with it, Ethra. Come on.
And good luck with the governor. We kind of blew up his house last time we saw him.
Have fun.
Did we?
She goes around the
The
tree
tree.
3 times And on the fourth time, as you like lose sight of her around the tree, she just does not come back around the other time, and she is gone. Yeah. I'll hand it back to the players. What do you want to do next?
So, after Ethra fades, I'm gonna turn to Wikipedia and I'm gonna say, can you get Kildak and meet me by that mountain over there?
Sure, kill that. Let's go to that mountain over there.
He's not in the
Like,
treehouse.
not
I
in a
don't-
row.
I was gonna say.
I thought he came with us through the shadow thing.
I was throwing a gold party on the beach.
Alright. Yes, I can go get Kildak. We'll meet you over there.
And then I am going to go find Bug-Eye.
Yeah, you find Bug-Eye. He is currently in the water holding 4 people up on his arms, like playing around with them. And when he sees you coming, he like just throws them into the ocean and then like wades his way back to you.
Hey, good looking. You want to go for a walk?
Connie! Of course! Walk back. Your eyes look crazy.
Thank you.
So fun to look at. Wow. Now you sparkle like me. And like kind of like moves his body a little bit so you can see the flecks of diamond in his skin.
I'm gonna have some of my lightning just like spread across my finger and just like encase him for just a little bit. And like mixing with the diamonds.
Yeah, it like reflects all over his body. Yeah.
That's
Like
cool.
a disco ball.
An undead disco ball made of diamonds.
That's what they call him. Bug-Eye the Undead Disco Ball Bill. Gary, yes.
Hey, Bug-Eye, I'm leaving tonight.
Oh, I didn't know we're leaving tonight.
Well, I don't know what the depressed guppy is doing, but I have a lot of loose ends to tie up, and so
I think your hair looks just fine as it is.
I'm leaving the ship tonight.
Oh. When will you be back?
I don't think I will be,
Oh.
but
Will we see you in port, maybe?
I don't want to promise you something that I don't know will happen. But I want you to know that I think you are the coolest Neil I have ever met, and definitely the hottest. And I'm gonna wink at him.
If his red skin could blush, he would his cheeks would turn bright pink. He looks away for a minute and looks back and says, "You're my best friend, Owen. I'm going to miss you."
I'm gonna miss you so much, Bug-Eye. You're my best friend too. And I'm gonna hug him.
Big hug. And he's gonna say, "Be careful, Tawny. I know you're really strong, and I know that you can shoot lightning, but I also know that you're not good at fixing boats. So if your boat starts to sink, try to remember the things that I did. And
I
I'll
will
always fix your
never
boat."
look at a door the same way again.
Here.
Every time there's a thunderstorm, I'll think of you.
Good deal. And then I'm gonna put my hand on his face and upwards at him. And I'm just gonna be like, I know that being a part of the Depressed Guppy has granted you freedoms that you otherwise wouldn't have.
Mhm.
But I want you to know that very soon all Neils will have those freedoms, and you will have those freedoms no matter where you go.
He smiles and goes, "You know what I look forward to most?
What?
I want to go to a new place and see a Neil there. You always only see Neils in there. Wouldn't it be fun to go to Red Rat Bay and just see a Neil? That would be fun. I can't wait for that."
I can't.
And then comes and gives you another big hug.
And then I'm gonna pull back and I'm gonna kiss his cheek. And I'm gonna say, "Goodbye, Bug-Eye."
Goodbye, Tommy.
And take off for the foot of the mountain.
He gets a little choked up as you leave, but he lets you go, lets you fly off.
I'm gonna like circle around him like once or twice and like have like lightning just like strike, just like far enough away as not to like spook
Playfully.
him, but just like, you know, just like a little
Yeah.
like fun
Well, you know.
goodbye.
Playful lightning, of course.
Yeah.
Everybody said goodbye through lightning before.
I feel like Bug-Eye would appreciate it.
Bug-Eye certainly would appreciate it.
Kildek would not. Don't electrocute Kildek.
I didn't shoot at Bug-Eye. I just like lightning happened around him, like a firework display, but it's lightning.
It's like a fireworks display, except it's against you.
Bug-Eye is not hurt, and if nothing else, is amazed and in wonder as Tawny flies away.
And I'm gonna hopefully spot my co-captains, at least for another few moments, by the mountain. And I'm gonna come in hot and land.
It's got no brakes.
Sorry, it's just I can go so much faster again now.
You see the top of this mountain has a little like plateau, and jutting out of the plateau is a like entrance to a cave. You take it, this cave is the point that the Forever Girl had talked about to leave the island.
I'm gonna turn to Wikipedia and Kildek.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
We saw this coming. Yeah.
It's time to.
Thank you for going on the adventure with us.
Yeah.
Thank
Certainly
you
nice
for-
to have a god along.
Yeah. For trusting us to go on this voyage with you.
Thank you for coming. I really. It's not something I would have asked for, but it is something that I appreciated.
Well, if you ever need a lonely old ship to take you around, hook me up.
I'm gonna miss you guys.
I'm gonna miss you too, Tawny.
And
You're
I'm
gonna do great things. You're gonna be amazing out there. The world has no idea what's in store for them. You're gonna do good things.
I'm gonna get down on my knees so I'm more in height level with them.
Hey, don't make fun of us for being short.
And I'm gonna like hug them.
Tight hug back.
Yeah, group hug.
Big group hug.
I'm gonna stand up and I'm gonna look at Wikipedia be like, I hope that the adventures find you well. And I hope that whatever happens, you know that you are strong and capable, with or without your powers, to have the freedoms you want.
Thank you, Tawny. You be safe out there. I know you can handle yourself, but it's okay to trust in other people sometimes. Rely on people.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
And then I'm gonna turn to
Make
kill
other
that.
friends out there. You can't be alone all the time, Tawny, either. Make sure you make another friend.
I have a lot to do.
That's true.
And then I'm gonna turn to Kildak. And I'm gonna say, I think you're getting a better handle of this magic shit than you believe.
It's still very random.
I think
Not
that's
wrong.
just a representation of who you are.
Ha! Yeah.
Stay sexy.
Always. Oh, and before you leave, and I reach into my bag and pull out a scrap cloth over top of an object. You can't really tell what it is. And hand it to Tawny. To remember me by. That's it's an outdated version. Just keep in mind.
It's just good.
And I know exactly what it is as I put it in my bag of holding.
What is it, Aubrey?
Oh, we all know. We all know. And I'm gonna actually, as I'm doing that, I'm gonna be like, okay, yeah, good thing too. And I'm gonna pull out the lock and the compass, and I'm gonna hand
yeah.
Yodak the lock and Wikipedia
Yeah.
the compass, and I'm be like, you might need this.
Wait.
To leave.
Oh, right, just the lock, because the stars in the sky. Right.
Yeah. It'll come down to your hand, I'm sure.
Cool. What's the
Oh,
compass
we're
for?
sure.
I just to remember, the present you gave Tawny is
Oh
it?
yeah, no,
both-
I get to totally remove the item labeled Nether Region Statue from my D&D Beyond imagery. Oh, I'm really happy about that.
Got it.
Which is a statue of Kildak's nether region that Wikipedia posed for.
Yeah.
Given now as a gift to Tawny.
Perfect.
And I put it in my bag of holding, which was a gift from Wikipedia.
There you go.
You'll never forget us.
It would be hard to.
Is Kildek an ugly crier?
Yeah.
Is Kildek ugly crying while sexy? Is that like part of the?
Yeah, he
Does it
looks
make-
so good.
Does it make him look good while crying, or does it make the crying uglier because that really like drives home how sexy?
It makes you really uncomfortable because you don't know how to feel.
He's got like the thick black like mascara lines coming down his face.
Yes. I just wear eyeliner all the time.
They wear makeup. It's only when he cries, it just starts ugly crier with all the makeup coming down.
All the salt water has no effect. It's the tears that happen once every 20 years.
You gotta make the makeup work for you.
Yeah.
Oh, I do have a really nice makeup kit.
Yes, you
I
do.
mean, you stole it from.
I almost forgot about that.
All right.
Wow, that whole family line has been killed.
Anyways, we love you, Tawny. You'll always be in our hearts. And please stay safe.
You guys too. Get up to some fun shit for me.
I promise.
We'll see you around.
Go kick ass. And whatever you're doing.
And then I'm gonna shift into my dragon form. And the wings are gonna be, and I think it's just gonna create like just enough wind that like Kildak's hair is like, and like Wikipeedia's just getting like the brunt ends of like the hair in her face.
Kildak, stop it, Kildak.
And I'm
What?
gonna fly
Get a
up
ponytail.
and around the mountain that's on Tamokor, and I'm just gonna let out a giant roar to the island that I think is so loud that everyone hears.
Oh, sure.
Before I go through the entrance, the door that's up here, because I know in my heart that this is going to take me to the mountain range I need.
Absolutely. You disappear into the darkness of the cave, and as the echo of Tawny's roar fades in Tamokor, the island goes silent, and the crews as a whole recognize that Tawny is gone, and no longer with them.
We3 is separated.
We3 is done.
For the final time, we've split the party.
Final time. With that, the crews wrap up their celebration. Before heading back to the material plane, is there anything that Kildak or Wikipedia would do on Tamokor? I mean, nobody rushes out, but is there anything of note to do before leaving?
I will give Kildak my bag of holding. If he would like to do anything with this bag of holding, he may. If not, we can leave. That's my final action on Tamokor, and I'll wait on the boat.
Wait, Wikipedia, you're giving me your bag?
Yeah.
What about all your
I think
stuff?
there's fun in there.
I know of a lot of things in here. Don't you want
Yeah.
any of it?
No.
We went through all that trouble for that demonic painted can.
Oh, yeah, that's still in there, too. You should do something fun with that. Oh, we should have used that earlier this morning. Dang. That would have been a fun touch. I should have hucked it at her.
You sift through the bag because nobody's actually gone through this bag yet.
Wait, what do you mean nobody? It's Wikipedia's bag.
It's Wikipedia's bag. She's put things in it, and she's pulled things that she's wanted out. But you go to take inventory of this bag, and there were a couple things in it when she picked it up.
Wait, there were things in the bags when she bought them?
Mm-hmm. There are 15 pieces of gold. There is a full chessboard, dragon chessboard.
Oh, cool.
And there is a little tiny sailing boat that's in the bag, and you pull it out, and it has a word in Elvish scrawled in it, and without going through all the process of figuring it out, eventually, either with the help of the admiral or somebody else, you read the word, and this little miniature sailboat pops and transforms into a full-sized sailboat. It can crew up to 5, minimum of 1.
Can I shrink it back down with the same word?
Yep, you say the same word and it shrinks back down.
That was just
Yay.
in there? Why did we
That's
even
been in
use that?
Since Red Rat Bay.
Wikipedia, why did we never use this?
I don't know, we didn't need it. We got a big boat right here. Why
Blind
a little
ship.
boat? We got a big boat.
How many times have we gotten in a rowboat?
You pushed us anyway. It was fun. It was fine.
You pushed us. It's fine.
Yay.
Yay. Thank you. I really appreciate
Oh.
I really appreciate this gift. But why
Yeah.
don't you keep it? I mean, it's your bag.
I don't know. I'm probably not gonna stay on the guppy too much longer either. I'm gonna be honest with you, Kildak. I mean, you were in the room with that hag. I don't know if you heard what she was saying, but I know some pretty deep shit, personal shit with the queen. And I don't really think anyone on the court is supposed to really know of or talk about. It's kind of a liability now. I don't think she's gonna be really happy with me just prancing around on a boat.
Oh,
I got shit to pay for.
okay.
You saw what you did to that hag.
What'd you do to the hag?
Well, that hag used to be someone like me.
Oh shit, what? You mean she
The
wasn't
hag
born ugly?
Oh,
Well, some people are, I mean.
she was a member of the court, and she found out some things she wasn't supposed to, and that was her fate. And I feel like I did some pretty worse things than she did. So,
Oh,
fate's looking pretty worse than hers.
so you're gonna be like extra ugly. Shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you're ever
Yeah,
like,
I would hope to be extra ugly at the end of this. That would be nice, I guess.
oh, there's worse? Shit. Okay.
I-
Well, if you're ever in trouble and stranded in a lighthouse that sacrifices people that you then eat, and only in that that very specific situation, let me know, and I will come kill you for you.
Okay, deal, Kildak.
True friends.
Outside of that specific situation, you can always ask for help and I'll be there. And I won't kill you in those situations.
That's a true friend.
Hey, Tawny.
No way.
Donnie can't. Yeah.
Aw,
I was gonna say, I don't know if that's going through.
Did it
I
work?
thought it would. No.
Oh no, not here. It does not work here. Different plane of existence. Yep.
Just say, yeah, we're on different planes right now. But
Yeah.
maybe if you try again, another time.
But we still got these. And I'm
That's
not
so
leaving right
smart.
now. I'm not
Okay,
leaving
okay.
like Tawny did. I'm
Just a heads up.
I don't know
Okay.
how much longer.
Well, do you want to see something cool?
Yeah, I do.
Can we like sneak out? Because I don't want anyone following us. But can we sneak?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
With-
maybe potentially we're still on. Oh no, we were going so.
Yeah.
Anyways,
With no
Sneak-
issue.
You got a
Yeah.
rogue sneak. You've
Uh-huh.
been teaching me how to be sneaky.
You guys have
We
worked
know
hard for this.
to the trap door.
Yes, absolutely. You can get to the trapdoor. You can, yeah, 1000%.
To re-dig up the trapdoor.
I just barely covered it. Yeah.
At
uh-huh.
first, I'm gonna be a little horrified. Like, are we re-digging up Lacrone's
No,
grave?
Lacrone is that one.
Like right
this-
here.
Lacrone,
okay.
yeah, that's Lacrone. This is completely different. And I throw open the trap door, and I left the torch lit because.
Perfect. Now it never goes out.
Yep. And then we're gonna go into the cave.
You see all the same things as prescribed before, except for 50,000 gold pieces.
Wow. Kill that.
Yeah, it's like 7,950,000 gold.
That's a really specific estimate. Here, give me
Huh.
that bag back.
I-
I'm gonna hold open the bag if you want to start shoveling coins in. Are
And
we
I
taking
just
this?
I take my whole I'm just gonna put like 100,000 in for right now.
Just
I have a feeling-
100,000.
I have a feeling I'll be back. But what
Okay.
I really wanted to show you, and I'll
This
shove
wasn't it.
100. This was, I mean, this was kind of it. But hold on. What's your favorite color?
Blue.
Black? Blue? Really? Okay. And I'm gonna walk over. Are any of the snow globes like blue?
Oh, absolutely. There's there's one that is like a stone-based like castle city with that like there are blue banners and blue flags.
Oh,
And,
perfect.
Like there's a second one that is completely a city made of ice, but it's like that blue like translucent ice. Your choice.
No, I want the blue banner one.
Perfect.
Here. It's like
Just one
I
hand.
think they're alive. I think they're
Wow.
alive.
You shake it, and a
Wow.
like roiling thunderstorm brews in the city. Lightning striking around. People are shouting and screaming due to like the earthquake and the natural disaster that is forming. But it doesn't like throw the people about.
I really wanted to do that earlier, but I was too scared.
Why were you scared? It's a snow globe. That's what they're meant for.
They're real people, I think.
Yeah, but they probably enjoy it. They're in a snow globe. I'm gonna grab another one.
No!
Wow.
I'm gonna snatch the second one back out of your hand. You can keep the one. Torment those
toss it in
people
the
as
bag of
much as you.
Tumble it into the bag of holding.
No,
Ah!
it's yours. You can have it if you want.
Yeah, we'll bring it on the ship.
Okay.
I'm not gonna carry it out in the open for everyone to see my magic snow globe.
That makes sense. It's about to be nighttime as we close the bag and put it away.
Lovely. Yeah. You take the blue bannered town out with you. Anything else on Tamokor?
I think I'm set. I think I'm ready to go back down.
Perfect. You make your way back to the boat. The pirates pile on. The ship flies back into the night sky with a waving forever girl once again. You see this time she flies to the tree, whips around it 4 times before you leave, and disappears. And the ship flies off and it lands back in the reef. It's about like midday when you land, and all the pirates go about getting back to their respective ships and making plans on where to go next. The fleet is, unless you intend to keep it together, going to disband and simply go their separate ways, giving up the treasure that you had given them, and everyone spends the afternoon like getting their supplies ready and getting their routes charted to their next locations. As night sets in the reef, a wind blows through the ships. A wind that calls Wikipedia to the deck of her ship.
As usual,
Don't forget your
I'll
snow
make
globe.
my way up.
Is the ship flying now?
Yeah, the ship is just kind of. Yeah,
Actually,
Your
no. It's in the water.
she's in the water.
Did Bug-Eye ever finish that stand for the
Yes,
compass
he
of
did.
the wandering soul of the
He
damned
absolutely did.
mortal plane or something?
Just the wandering soul.
It's the compass of the wandering soul. I feel like it's a lot longer than that.
Nope, Compass of the Wandering Soul.
Okay.
You do make it longer every time.
Perfect, as it should be.
That's a Jacob special.
I'm going to leave my snow globe next to my nightstand and trudgingly make my way up the stairs to where she calls.
This time, you are called all the way up to the crow's nest. And as you make your way up to the top, you have a beautiful view of the reef. You can see sea creatures are already starting to come back into the reef. Nature is healing. And once you are up there, you hear a voice from behind you as a figure hovers in the night. Her dress hanging in the wind, her crown shimmering behind you. She goes, "Once again, you've outdone yourself, Black Bee. I know it wasn't easy, but the Unseelie Court is in your debt forever. You've certainly earned your place as my lady." And you can see that she kind of hovers closer to the crow's nest.
Thank you.
You know, I thought letting her fall into the abyss while locking her memory in a poem would be enough. But she still found a way to creep back into my life. I don't believe I ever thanked you for ridding us of that hag. Crooked Nose had too lenient of a fate. Wouldn't you agree?
I suppose.
Normally this would be quite a regrettable meeting, Black Bee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're among the bravest of heroes, but no less the murderer of my sister. And you can hear the wind pick up and the darkness, the twinkle in the stars above seem to dim. She goes, "Besides, I've gone through such great pains to wash away my kinship to her. I cannot let all that go to waste. Regardless, a deal is a deal, isn't it, Black Bee?" And with that, the queen transforms. She grows in size, almost eclipsing the size of what her sister was. She grows immense, towering in the reef, her crown stretching up to the stars. As she does, she moves her hands, and black smoke doesn't do it justice. It is darkness itself begins to whip around you in the boat like a hurricane, as if you were in the eye of the storm. And this darkness begins to close tighter and tighter around. You can see it is like swirling and rapidly spinning around you. And as the queen reaches her height, a massive hand swoops down and pulls Wikipedia from the crow's nest. She brings you up close to her face, and the queen's eyes flash. A ghastly, unsealing magic flows from her into you. As you look around into the darkness, you begin to see images flash. Some play out for longer than others. But the first memory that is pulled from your brain and whisked away is the name of Arusula, the name of the Queen in Sea and Darkness.
Mhm.
Then it is the battle that just happened a day prior. plays out in the darkness within the shapes that you see, and is whisked away. A glowing dagger in her back fades from your memory. The next memories to fade are those of the hag and being in the lighthouse, being in the cursed town of White Sandport. But as these memories are pulled, the next ones that you see flash in front of you and then are gone from your mind are those of Legume's mansion, of Pastel, of sneaking around the gardens, then of sneaking onto the docks to raid the Orachin, of arriving at Red Rat Bay, and then Red Rat Bay as a whole is gone. Rapidly, more memories begin to fade. The sauna people, the ziggurat, gone. The Tamokor, as beautiful as it was, gone. The Hangman's Cove, the meeting with the octopus, the revelry on the docks, gone. The fleet disappears, and the mutiny at Left Hand Island disappears. What is the last memory to leave Wikipeedia's mind?
I think the last few memories that come through, I think first Kildak, as the memories start flooding through my mind and then are rushed away. I begin to forget about his jokes and his sarcastic comments. I forget about our rogue and magic lessons together and the promises we made to share our skills and interests to better each other. I think I forget about his bravery and how he conquered his fears when we needed them the most, and how he was such a great leader to our crew and a true pirate's captain. And then he's gone. And then I think about Tawny and her mighty dragon form. And I remember how cold she was when we first met her, and how hell-bent she was on her own mission. And softly I begin to forget how we danced together and all the passion that she showed in her moves. and her godlike form that struck both fear and awe in everyone's eyes. And I forget about how much she loved her people and would sacrifice anything to keep them safe. I forget that in this life, they were my two best friends, and I would have loved them forever.
As the memories are gone, Wikipedia falls unconscious. The Queen's grasp closes in completely. The darkness collapses on the guppy. And the only things that fall back to the ship are the hat that Marcus gave you and the earring that Tawny gave. And Wikipedia is gone.
So mean.
Time goes by. Time passes for the guppy. And where we find the guppy again, I will turn it over to Jake. what is the next time we see the guppy?
In short, it's probably been a couple months. The guppy's been sailing around Stonefall Scatter. There's been a lot of changes. Rum's been no difficult to come by, though more expensive now that it's a little more taxable. But
Very true.
the price is worth paying. After spending a couple weeks in Stonefall Scatter, the guppy will most likely make its way back to the Sword Coast, all the while, engaging in piracy. We saved the world, so we're still pirates, though. Like,
Oh, sure.
absolutely. We'll still the cannons need cleaned every once in a while, and what better way to clean them than by firing again?
That's sound logic to me.
But really, the crew is still living on that high from the Arusala fight. Like, we're still just kind of chasing that, and taking down a Waterdeep Navy ship just isn't enough. One time, sailing across the trackless sea, we took on 4. There were 4 Waterdeep Navy ships. There's a little escort, and when there's an escort, something valuable they're protecting. But just even getting the money, it didn't work. It wasn't enough. I mean, we spent it on rum. We hoarded it. We can't spend it all in one place. But it's still just we're still just chasing that. So we went back to the Sword Coast. The Waterdeep Navy is going to be a little more concentrated there. See if we can get in some real good skirmishes. It's just it ends up being to the point, like, there's no commands to give. We stay in the water most. We don't want to give away the fact that we can fly. That's something we keep close to the chest. In the event that it gets a little hairy, which is few and far between. But maybe we'll come a couple feet out of the water, but really, that's just to create a legend. We were attacked by a flying ship. Nobody believes that. But there's no commands to give in a battle. It's going through the motions. Everybody knows what's happening. It's honestly becoming a little dull. And we sail around the Sword Coast for a couple of weeks and see. We stop in Waterdeep, which is kind of ironic. It's where we picked up Wikipedia and Tawny. It's where I boarded this ship, however many years ago under Gorehand. But and back then the city seemed so large. It was so foreign. And it's still foreign. I didn't spend much time here, but it's nothing to the excitement that Red Bay brought me. That's still my favorite place in all the seas is Red Bay. And the crew's favorite place is the sea, but I think Kildak is starting to become more of a landlubber over time.
One day after Kildak kind of realizes this with himself, the ship is greeted one morning by its favorite holiday, and that is Mail Day.
Mail Day.
Mail Day.
How do they always find us?
This mail day?
That's the price you pay. Mail Day comes. There's another letter for an Alfonso who missed his court date.
These birds find us no matter where they are, but they don't find Alfonso. Like, is anybody here named Alfonso?
The admiral like goes to like reach up his hand, but like by that point you've already like torn the letter up and he's like,
He's not missing it anyways. Well, he is. He's missing it by like what, a couple years, but
I believe it's 70. This would be a 74th year of missing.
oh, more than a couple years. He's missing it. Just throw it overboard. It's now a soggy piece of paper.
There you go. There are letters for people in the crew. Walnut gets a letter from home. It is
Not all dead.
It is complete chicken scratch, but that's
Ah!
the way people write. Yeah, you like that?
That was stupid, and I appreciate it.
And there is a letter for Kildak.
Letter for Kildak.
Mm-hmm.
I will absolutely grab that. I don't. This is mailbag. I don't get letters very often. I actually don't know that I've ever gotten a letter.
Maybe your first.
This is my first letter that's been addressed to me. All the
It's
other
good.
letters have been addressed to either the crew or the captains of the Depressed Guppy, but this is my first letter, which is odd. You know, but I made friends, I made acquaintances, and I probably made enemies at this point. And I'm gonna kind of go into my newly moved in captain's quarters, which is much better
yes.
than my previous one.
I left all of my copies of Treasured Halfbreed for you.
No.
Yes. I'll keep them warm for you. And I will go into my captain's quarters and read through my letter. And upon doing so, I'll go step out to the map room, chart a new course, and head back towards the Stonefall Scatter.
A few days, maybe a couple weeks pass, depending on, travel time through the trackless sea. But the night we find the Depressed Guppy again, no less than 8 Thayan vessels sail over Rainbow Reef. Their purpose is singular. They seek justice. The embarrassment and shame that filled the court halls the day they learned that a one-armed, one-eyed pirate bested their master of necromancy and science was so immense that the former Arcanus demanded the head of this scourge of the sea. After months of searching, the fleet of the Red Revenge held the infamous silhouette of the Depressed Guppy down its sights. Let it be known that the decks were no longer staffed by Neil, but rather a more diverse crew. Wizards and shield guardians, skeletons, and even Sahuagins. Not all from the Crab Shark tribe, but from other tribes as well. Familiars and automations skittered about the decks. But the fleet and their arcane cannons erupted, but were met with only the raucous cheers and a return volley from the Depressed Guppy.
And this is the most ships we've ever taken on at once. I mean, we would previously boast of the 4 water-deep ships, but we are now facing 8 Thayan ships. Granted, these ships were sent out under previous rule, so I'm sure their supply chain has been diminished, but
It's true.
still, this is not an easy fight by any means. But Kildak will keep the depressed guppy in the water. They probably know of our ability to fly. That probably is irrelevant, but he's gonna keep it in the water for now. It gives our cannons optimal angle. And we have everybody. Walnut has been promoted. He no longer swabs decks endlessly.
Oh yes.
He gets to run around with the light stick and fire the cannons off. He runs down the line, boom, 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 boom. He's very good at it. Meanwhile, everybody's loading cannonballs back in, reloading like chain shot to break up their mass and everything. It seems like a very even battle, which is ridiculous. It's 8v1. They really suck. Like, if there was ever a challenge to be had, this is it.
This is it.
But their masts are falling splintered in the ocean, largely immobilized. There's 2 that have already turned over just from the amount of water on their starboard side that's already flooded in. Their cannons are useless. They're either pointed towards the sky, away from us, or into the water. Half the crew's already swimming towards shore. We're right next to Red Rat Island.
Yeah, just south of it.
And Kildak's gonna steer the ship towards the first closest Thayan ship. We're gonna prepare to board. Prepare to board! And then ropes and grappling hooks are gonna swing out. It's just a flay of ropes, blot out the sun kind of thing. And Kildak will be the first to swing across. And as he does so, the Thayan ship explodes. Apparently there was a fire brewing in the magazine room. The entire ship splinters into a million pieces, and Kildak is lost.
The ship that explodes into the water sinks to the bottom of the reef, and with it goes the captain of the depressed guppy. He is mourned by the crew, who at dawn's light emerges victorious from their greatest battle yet, but is missing their favorite captain. I will ask this one last question to Kildak before finishing his story. Who does Kildak name as... Who did he name as first mate, knowing that they would be captain in his replacement if he were to die?
The Admiral has always been first mate. During the times of We3, he didn't really have much of a role, largely because between the 3 of us, we comprised those 2 roles fairly well.
Sure.
But after Tawny and Wikipedia left, Kildak really started showing Admiral the other side of the ropes. The charting the course and the accounting and all the boring shit that comes with being in charge of multiple people. The shit you don't really expect, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, Captain, my family back home is sick. Can I have a couple days leave? Sure, dude. Just let me know when you're coming back. All that bullshit. He's kind of showing him around. So it's the Admiral is the new captain of the depressed guppy.
The crew, Admiral included, certainly mourns Kildak's death. But that night, there is a celebration on the ship to their most successful captain, and most importantly, a captain who left behind a successor that was anybody but Eugene and Wallywig. And for that, they are immensely thankful. And that is the end of Captain Kildare. We're going to move back a little bit to Tawny. As you leave the cave from Tamokor, you come out the other side and see that you are once again in the Grey Peak Mountains. It does not take you long, especially as such a mighty dragon, to search for the plateau of the warrior Druk, the statues there, the burying place of your aunt, and the blood-stained stone that is still there. You land, but only briefly, in this location that you were only a handful of months ago before taking off into the sky again. As you fly higher and higher, it seems like time begins to stretch as you move closer and closer to the heavens. There is a familiar sensation that hums within you, growing stronger and stronger, louder and louder, until suddenly when you look down, there's no trace of the world below. The sky has turned from midday to the glorious sunset shades of pink and orange. Can you, Aubrey, describe us what Drukgyal looks like?
Yeah. So, as I fly up into this endless sky, I come upon a massive floating island. And it's not like the islands back at Stonefell Scatter. This is like so much larger. This is what you would think of as a continent, and it's to the point where no matter where I am coming up through the sky, I can't see all of it, and it's kind of blurry. But I see the island, and it twists and it twirls the land up in a spiraling sensation in the sky. And I am looking upon the main island of Drukgyal. And as I fly in and I approach the spiral and flying towards the top, the capital begins to take its shape. Bridges connects between like the twists. There's like bridges across between buildings, and a large waterfall falls from like the middle of the spirally island down just into like the depths of the sky. And when you look down, there is no ground below. We have moved completely into Drukgyal. And closer to the palace, there is the airy infrastructure that the palace is built off of, with just dozens of these large open ways that are clearly big enough to fit dragons. In fact, looking at it, Tawny knows that when you're at that awkward age where the dragon can't fly yet and the human can't walk yet, like there's no way you could get around anywhere because the doors aren't built like typical things, and even the bridges are mostly for show because everything is based off of being able to fly to get around. As I approach the palace, chimes ring out with signaling this evening hour, but the sky will always remain in its forever state of dusk And so this like idea of like a sun setting or rising is always upon Drukiel, as in the plane it exists kind of outside of the typical movement of a sun. But most importantly, surrounding the kingdom of the Druk, home to the Druk Galapo, the royal line, are hundreds of dragons flying around, and Tawny is home. So after I see the capital, the kingdom of Druk before me, I am going to head straight into the palace, flying in the most direct path through the entryway and landing upon this large balcony that is made of like marble and has this intricate railing around it, and it's this like big circular balcony, and in front of it just goes out is this huge chamber, and in the chamber there is basically a mess of tables, and it's just this like really like fancy like wooden tables. There's chandeliers, but the table, like there's some that are circular, there's some that are like long rectangular, there's like wonky shaped tables, and this chamber is full of Druk. There are people up and they're like at other tables, they're moving around. The hall is full of laughter and life. There is a lot of drinking going along, a lot of like splashing. This is a very like rowdy event because this is just a typical Druk dinner. And when there isn't a need for formalities, they are a very like lively bunch. But as I land as a dragon, not many eyes are gonna catch me at first because it's just another dragon coming to dinner. But then as I shift back into my mortal form and I stand there, I have the long, deep, violet, midnight purple hair, and I have the big extended ears, and the little bit of lightning is just crackling on me as normal. And I think slowly people start to pay attention because, one, I'm not supposed to be back.
Sure.
And two, I look very different now that I'm back. And it's not the type of power that the Druks would typically associate with a warrior Druk returning.
You see that as like a hush goes about the mess hall, as like people realize what is happening, the royal party rises, shock and awe on their face. Your mother, Aeneas, pushes past people, rushes over to you, and embraces you, gives you this huge hug. You look around the room as nervous looks are exchanged. Warrior Drew, she's back before her time? What has happened? What is wrong? And you see your father, Callum, equally surprised, but his eyes have not left the scepter. He pushes past people, finally breaking his eyes away to look at you, and goes, "Tawny, you've returned. What are you doing here?"
Hello, Father. How are you enjoying your stolen throne?
Tana, what has gotten into you? What is the meaning of this? Tell us, why have you returned?
What? Was this not a part of your plan? A shame you thought so little of me. Did you honestly believe I would just sit there and die? That I wouldn't find out just who you are, Croesus?
You hear a murmur move through the crowd before the expression on Callum's face drops. The lights in the room, the candles, the chandeliers, the torches, all simmer out and go dark. The only light is now coming from behind you, spilling in. A wave of unease moves throughout the room. You feel people push back in the room, tables scooch back as distance is put between themselves and Callum and yourself. Everyone pushes back. You can almost see, like, in the corners of the room, shadows like move and dance in ways that they shouldn't, and this aura of fear pushes to every corner of the room. Callum looks directly now to Tawny and says, "You're right. I miscalculated. I was wrong to have let you gone down there. The honor of Warrior Druk, stoic guardian of the ungrateful, miserable, pathetic races of the material plane. Our strongest and greatest leaders sent away to rot at the hands of the lower people. Did you see them, Tana? How they live in their own filth? How they spend their time clawing away after the most pitiful inklings of power? No, I should have withheld you from their putrid lands, raised you here, to stay by my side as one of Drukyl's greatest warriors, to fulfill the destiny of our people's might, not wasted away under the sun."
You disgust me. And I'm gonna... And
Ooh.
lightning is gonna crackle out of my hand in waves and hit him.
You see it strikes him in the chest. It blasts him off his feet, sends him sailing across the room. The crowd is pushed back both out of fear and out of necessity for their safety as he sails across the room, smashing into the royal party's table, splintering it into pieces, hits the back wall and falls to the ground. And you see he slowly forces himself back up, and you can see his shirt and chest is torn, black scars, and the scorch marks now burned into his chest. But as he rises in such a way that you can tell this is somebody who is accustomed to receiving blows on the battlefield. This is not their first experience to pain. And Callum looks to the balcony, looks to Tawny, and goes, "Wake up, Tana! The material plane, those people, they are nothing. We allow ourselves to send the might of the Druk Galapo, our royal line, for what? To what end? What is there to protect? You felt our power running, coursing through our veins. Why do we waste our centuries protecting the weak when we could rival the gods?" And as he gets back to his feet, he points to you and says, "Ruckus, seize her! Tana has attacked the line of the Druk Galapo, a crime of highest treason." You see, moving out of the crowd is Ruckus. He is in his human form, unlike the last time you saw him ceremonially in his dragon form. In his human form, he is a towering, dark-skinned man, wrapped in muscle, wrapped in golden plate armor.
Ooh,
he steps between you and your father, and he lowers his shoulders, lowers his weight into a fighting stance, and grips the hilt of his sword. But then he hesitates. He looks back to Callum, looks back, Callum, the king of the Drooks, before turning and looking back to you. He grips the hilt of his sword even tighter, but he does not draw his blade.
Do you see that? The crown and country forsake you.
No, Callum says. I will keep what is rightfully mine. I deserve this crown, not Hildor. He was weak, and his line proved to be just that by how easily they were ended. Balin, Callum, Liko, Loma, Piteous, weak. We let the Drukalapa line go soft. If you just open your eyes, you would understand. We deserve to rule upon the mightiest of Drooks, not protect the filth of the Beneathers. That is why... That is what I miscalculated. I thought my daughter would feel the same! And he sprints across the mess hall. And as he does, his arms shift. You see scales ripple across his hands. And as he moves from a full sprint, into a four-legged gallop, he, with one hand, swipes away Ruckus and just pushes him out of the way. And as the wings extend of a blood-red dragon with purple, like a deep purple, almost bleeding down the sides of his face, bleeding down the sides of his body until like his blood-red chest, you realize that you have never seen this dragon come out of your father. As he pushes Ruckus away and leaps into Tawny.
I'm gonna shift back, and I think that as my dragon goes, it's not quite as large, but it is flaring with lightning as I kind of meet his stance as he comes flying at me, and just like try to dig my claws around him.
You dig your claws into him. You draw blood from his scales, but he was not going to draw blood. He lowers his head and slams it into your chest as both of you tumble back, smash through the railing of the balcony, and tumble off the side of the castle. As you fall, you push away from each other, and I imagine that your claws just drag out from behind him. Yeah.
I'm just gonna like dig into him as we tumble before we separate, and I get my wings going.
Yeah. Your wings come out, his wings come out, and the two of you zip through the castle, moving between towers and spires, balconies and arches, moving sometimes into the castle before ripping out the other side or smashing through a wall to get out back into the open. Windows are shattered, and it's not until you get slowly higher and higher that he puts his claws like into Tawny's chest and smashes you into the roof of the castle, just dragging you along. Pieces of the roof just splinter away and leave a huge gash as he drives you across the roof. And just as you are able to claw his face and push him off of you, he takes a single beat of his wings. His lungs fill with air, and a beam of purple fire pours out of his mouth, strikes you in the chest, and pushes you through the roof, smashing into the dimly lit room below. And as Callum follows, he lands with a commanding thud. His wings retract. His body shrinks as he converts back to his human form. Now the scars still like pulled into his chest, cuts on his face, but as he stands, you can see the statues and the banners of the throne room around you. Both of your blood dripping onto the royal carpet, and your father begins to take steps away from you as he makes his way up to the towering throne in the room.
I think as I land and just take this enormous hit, I mean, I had been shooting lightning back at him.
Oh, absolutely.
But the crashing through the roof of this building, I think I just land in a pile of rubble of the roof back in my mortal form. Just...
Callum, out of breath, strides up the steps to the throne, shaking his head. I wish you could see the truth, Tana. We're such fiery spirits, you and I. We have always been the same. And forever oathbound? And spits in between him and you. An insult to our throne. I am bound by no one! You will learn to change your mind, daughter. You will never be content to live in the mud. Sitting on the throne, he goes, like the phoenix, I arose from the dirt and ashes, and I will do the same for Drukule. And as my heir, you will do it by my side. Side, side, side. And as he says this, the words echo through the room. You can see that the statue and the banisters almost bleed away from your vision as the sound of what he's saying reverberates, and the only thing that is in focus is him on the throne. And he casts Gesh upon Tawny as his command for you to come to his side and be his right-hand warrior. Echoes into your brain, and with the powers of an Oathbreaker paladin, cannot be overcome.
And I stand up. And I walk over to his side. Just like he asked of me.
He is going to rise from the throne as you come up the steps. There you are, my little warrior.
I am of your blood, Father. And I know the depths of that heat better than anyone else. And I kind of reach for him.
He reaches out back.
But I am not of fire. I am of lightning. And I take the full brunt of psychic damage to act against the will of the spell.
Your brain screams in pain. You can hear the sound of the Gesh. As my air, you do by my side, as the air like floats around your body. The room is the worst migraine possible. The room seems to condense on itself, spikes in your mind. All you can hear is the buzzing of pain and the sound of your father's voice. Your vision blurs as the pain is too much. Blood drips from your nose. You feel nauseous. You feel weak as that migraine, that pain in your brain, it feels like your head is going to explode. But you act against the gash.
And just gripping his hand tightly, the talons emerge out of me, and I reach back and I pull out my sword that I have kept stolen from fucking Wallywig, and gripping his hand, I take my sword and it inflames with my divine celestial right of a warrior Drook, and lightning encompasses it, just like with the Abyss and Arusula. And I stab my sword down and I plunge it into his chest, and it goes straight through him and kind of pierces him into the throne. And as it goes through and into him, and I watch the light kind of fade from him, my lightning flickers higher and higher, and it comes in through the broken roof. I'm just gonna collapse in with the weight of the blade, and over top of Callum, I'm down on my knees, and I'm gonna bury my head into his chest and the sword. I'm sorry, Daddy. I wish you weren't who you are.
The body goes limp, and the hilt of fancy footwork, while a big sword, protrudes from the chest of the oath-breaking king of the warrior. We're going to move away from Drukul as Connie, her face buried in the corpse of Callum, formerly known as Croesus. We move away from there. Back on the mortal plane, we are going to find the depressed guppy again. The guppy is scarred and some places smoldering with fire, but still a valiant ship, victorious after its battle with the Thayan ships. And as beaten as it may look, it looks far better than the 8 shipwrecks that are around it. The captain of the ship now. I'm so used to saying captains of the press cup. The captain of the ship, Captain Alfonso Celesti, also known as the Admiral. There was a long debate that night over what they should call him, because Captain Admiral doesn't really make sense. And so they consider calling him Admiral Captain, but that also doesn't really make sense. So Captain Alfonso is what they decide on. And
everybody thinks back to all the times someone was like,
Everybody-
is there an Alfonso here?
is there an Alfonso? The once a year, the annual. Is there an Alfonso on this ship? And his first order of business as captain is a proper funeral. They take one of the flags of the depressed guppy, and without the body of Kildek to bury, as it is incinerated, they...
I thought it was a prank. I thought he was gonna come back.
I thought he was coming back too.
Kildek, Jake, what do you think of Kildek's possessions was left on the ship?
He
I'm trying to think.
just because the hat comes off easy in battle, he probably would have left that. I'm trying to think. The flag, the hat. Probably some of his like maps and such. Like, I mean, why would he just have those on his person? Small stuff like that, I guess.
What they do is they take one of the chests that you had stolen from the governor, and they fill it to the brim with gold. They take the hat that Kildek had left behind. They take some of the poems that he kept of Captain Emerald, as well as some that he wrote himself that I imagine were equally as bad.
Oh, yeah.
And put them in the chest. The Admiral wraps the chest in the flag and said, Captain Kildek was a simple man. He was an excellent friend of mine. But one of the things that he took the greatest enjoyment in life was finding gold. Now, most pirates take that as an excitement because you know what you're going to spend it on. You know that gold means rum, it means company, it means a party on shore. But not for Captain Kildek. My friend, Kildek. He liked finding treasure because he liked the finding part. He liked the excitement of not knowing what was in the chest when he opened it. By the nine hells, he liked touching the gold, not because he liked the way it felt in his hands, but because part of him wanted to know if it was cursed and wanted to feel the curse seep through his fingers. Because how can you resist that adventure? Captain Kildek did not know, waking up this morning, that today would be his last. But I don't think he would want to know. I think he would think that would be spoiling his story. And he was never one for spoilers. So, we will bury this chest for Captain Kildek. That way, one day, maybe somebody else can find it and share that excitement. And they take the chest and they toss it overboard. It sinks down into the reef. They salute to the chest. The Admiral, Captain Alfonso, plays a tune, whatever the equivalent of taps would be for the Waterdeep Navy. And mournfully, the guppy moves on. I would like, however, before we finish Kildek's story for the campaign, to move back a couple weeks. It was mail day on the Depressed Guppy, and a letter found its way to Captain Kildek's hands. As Jake said, Kildek went into the map room and opened up the letter. And this is what he read. To Kildek. If the rumors I hear floating around the docks be true, then soak me boots and shiver me timbers. You found the hidden island of Tamo Core. Not only that, but you made it back in one piece. You can thank me for that, you can. And as a thanks for me invaluable service, I have a proposition for you. Now, consider the last captains to go to Tamo Core. One is dead and legendary, the other is dead and forgotten. So, unless you want to end up dead too, pay attention, me boy. You need to die, and soon. Make it believable, make it a fiery explosion so they never try fishing for your body. And be close to land, that it's an easy swim to a brand new life. Make sure you die where many can see you. It's more believable that way. I'll meet you in Red Rat Bay. I'll be there for the next couple weeks. Fine establishment it is. Find the dashing silver fox wearing a King's Navy uniform with the gold skull belt buckle. And remember, Kildek, dead men tell no tales. It is signed by the Wandering Soul. Excuse me, a Wandering Soul.
So we'll move back to battle from the other side. And as Kildek swings over, he casts his fiery rat ray onto the magazine of the ship and causes an explosion. At the same time, he casts a second level spell of Alter Self on himself and expends a sorcery point to make it last all day. Kildek is now a 6-foot tall woman with 2 arms, 2 eyes, 2 legs, and is sprinting away from battle using the explosion as a distraction, running towards the tree line.
Not a soul sees the woman sprint across the water in the dead of night into the jungle of Red Rat Bay. Hello, Nico. You make your way back to, Red Rat Bay, where, looking around La Hopital, you make your way around town, end up in the Hopital, and amongst the patrons, you see there is a sailor of the Waterdeep Navy, older gentleman with like salt and pepper hair. He is missing an eye, has like a beautiful eye patch on him. Nice full beard. His coat unbuttoned, exposing his fully hairy chest, and a golden like skull and crossbones belt buckle. Certainly not military issue. Holding up his trousers.
I'll walk up very nonchalant as I approach him. Is he at a table? Is he at the bar?
He is at a table.
Okay. I'll walk up and take the seat opposite. I believe I have your compass.
An eyebrow raises before A chuckle comes about the man. Oh, I don't know how you do it, me boy. You look different.
You don't look exactly the same either.
Hi, let me tell you the secret. They make a potion that makes you look young and sexy forever.
Oh, no, I'm familiar with that one.
Who are you, me boy? That's the most important potion that you can find. What's with the getup?
It was the easiest way to escape because just a little bit of energy and I can look however I want.
Well, that's a fine thing that you can do, me boy. Soak me boots and shiver me timbers. He sits back and says, So, tell me, how'd you do it? How'd you make it all the way to Tamo Core itself?
Well, I had a lot of help. But, to just keep it short, it's very hard to keep it short. But we met the Ghost of Emerald. He pointed us to a map. There was a compass, and then that took us to a different compass, like a star compass, and then there was a star itself, and then we fought a goddess afterwards. Yeah.
I don't believe a single lick of that story. That's excellent. Oh, wow. Oh, I forgot to write in the letter. Did you bring gold? I took a good chunk of what I had, but we probably should get more.
No, I have, some. I have a plan, too.
A plan?
A little bit.
When I met you, you were but a wee lad with nothing but fire in your eyes. Now you're here, 6 foot tall, full head of hair, and a plan. The world has really gone crazy, hasn't it?
It really has. I intend to return to Tamo Core, and if you'd like, you can join me.
Tamo Core, you say?
I found Emerald's cache.
Ye pulling me leg. You did not.
I did. I had his maps. Found it. Wasn't honestly that hard. Nearly one of my crew members got lucky and found it by accident. He didn't hide it very well. But
That's scoundrel.
I take my little bag and I reach my hand in, kind of gotta go like elbow deep. I pull out a little miniature sailboat. We're gonna use this,
Yeah.
and we'll buy supplies like wood and stone and nails. And we'll just take it boatload by boatload and just build a house in Tamo Core where time doesn't touch us. And there's portals there that take you all over the plane. We can go and we can watch other pirates and we can just enjoy the company. We can live forever. Gather gold and make our own hoard.
He sits back. I'm gonna be honest with you, Kildak. I think my years of adventuring are past me. The complexion doesn't show it, but I'm getting up in my years. My human body doesn't quite keep up with you as a dwarf. But I will say, a place where time doesn't touch us, a house of our own building, well, most pirates don't get to retire now, do we?
No.
And that, me friend, is an offer I cannot pass up. And he pours you a glass, and you share a drink while discussing the logistics, drawing out on pieces of parchment what kind of house you want to build, and what life could be like in Tamokor. Jake, walk us through how Kildak's story goes.
So they draw up all the plans. They use the boat. They get their first like kind of basic load, just a couple tools, hammers, saws. They're gonna need to cut down probably some trees just to make space for it. Pretty dense forest. With some axes. Load up the boat with the first trip, and they go the old-fashioned way with the spyglass and or not the spyglass, the sextant and the.
Oh, the sextant. Perfect.
And I imagine Gorhan's in awe.
Oh, absolutely. Flabbergasted.
And we go up and we just kind of make camp. I'm showing him around. The Forever Girl's there, and we both cut off our shadows. It's a little fanfare, a little private ceremony, and we go and we start planning out. We lay out some of the supplies for our house, and then we usually just go through the tree. The tree is much faster.
The tree is much faster. With your shadow cut, you are no longer touched by time nor bound by gravity, and so it makes building a house a lot easier.
It does. We didn't need any ladders. So we use the tree and we just keep getting more supplies. And we really do. We spend all of the 100,000 gold pieces that I took and build up this land. But we do have a nice house, and the basement is basically like goes right into the hoard, where we will just really grow it with our own loots that we might steal from the wandering pirate past the cove.
I imagine that, with all this time on your hands, knowing Kildak, between robbing the occasional pirate or merchant, between probably, let's be honest, Kildak starts his own business at some point.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like there's just a stand in the woods right next to the tree, and it just kind of sells things, just random
Kildak
things.
Has all the time to make things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he makes some stuff. He has portals that go all over the place. So like, you want this foreign thing from like months away? Actually, here it is.
Yeah. Kildak does all of this, gets to explore and trade and build up Tamokor. The Forever Girl is enthralled. She gets to help build a house. She's kept company by Captain Gorhand. You see Gorhand takes more of a back seat. He stays on the island most of the time, just enjoying the beautiful view. But he'll sit out like on the porch and like carve little stuff for the shop, or he'll build little things. And as Kildak grows the hoard, as he moves the gold that he makes and sells things to, the gold accumulates and treasures accumulate until they can't fit in the cave underneath. And from looking from the grave of Captain Lacrone, you could watch the beaches roll with gold. The sand is saturated with flecks and nuggets of gold. Every tree is decorated with silver and bronze, and the hills are piled with riches. And as the sun never sets in Tamokor, the island is forever glimmering as the legend is made true. and Tamokor really does become an island of treasure and beauty and forever at peace. And as Kildek and the Forever Girl and Captain Gorhan spend all of time doing what makes them happy. And despite nobody knowing, the perfect crime, a death baked in battle, Kildak's story, although never really ending, is laid to rest. We move now to a different point in time. Wikipedia, you wake up in a unfamiliar bed, but a comfy one. The sun is just peeking through the window. The air is chilly, but you are cozied up in these blankets.
I wake up in sheets that are warmed by the sun's rays gleaming through the window. And looking out, I can see this quaint, snow-covered town bustling with people just starting their day. And out in the distance, I think I can see the ocean, the seas rough kind of blowing in the wind. I feel so refreshed and anew, like that night's sleep was just what I needed for a really long time. It was deep and restful. And with excitement and enthusiasm, I get dressed, putting on my clean white shirt with little like ruffles on the sleeves and my plain brown pants. And I start combing out my hair with my fingers. And in doing so, I remember the time that my hair was once long and red and curly, but just a few days ago I had chopped off the long locks to make room for the darker shade that was beginning to take over. And there's still some red bits on the end that I hadn't been able to cut off, but I didn't want to cut my hair like too short. I pinched my cheeks in the mirror to get some color on them before making my way out. And lastly, I grab my royal blue jacket that's about 2 sizes too big and just sling it around my shoulders and head downstairs to pay for my stay at this little inn.
You come to the counter, and there's this little halfling child, which is like even smaller than a regular child, behind the counter, and they are like almost like doing a pull-up just to see over the counter. And as you come, they just give you this big like toothy grin as you come up and see them. Hi.
Hi, excuse me. I'm here to pay for my stay.
Oh, okay. They hop down the counter, open up one of like the side doors, and goes, "Hey, Grandma Neely, there's a woman, there's a lady here for you. They're gonna pay for the stay." Okay. And then the kid runs down into like through the door, and a elderly halfling comes out. She walks with a cane. She's wrinkly. Her hair is turned gray. She comes to the counter.
I have a baby niece named Nilly. That's a beautiful name. How much was the room again?
Oh, yes, Neely is my name. You must have heard it from my grandson. Yes, Neely is a beautiful name. 2 gold, please.
And I start fishing around in my pockets for some gold, and I hand them out to her.
Well, thank you so much, sweetie.
Yeah.
You have a wonderful day.
Thank you, you too. And I start to leave the inn, and as I step outside, I kind of start looking signs for port or how to head like down to the ocean, and I just kind of follow where the wind seems to be like pushing and pulling me down the roads.
As the wind pushes Wikipedia towards the docks, we are going to move back in time again. Not in Wikipedia's memory, but back in time. In a dark forest outside of Airmore, in a moonlit grove, a pact has just been made with a young halfling from the town. And as Wikipedia, her bright red curly hair, her beekeeper's clothes, holds for the first time that smoky glass blade in her hands, she clutches it. She agrees to a pact, a deal with a fae. And the Duchess Pamela whisks off into the night. And as Wikipedia turns to pack up her things and leave town, she takes a couple steps into the forest before a voice echoes out behind her. You've been touched with the gifts of the Unseelie Court. Our deal has been made. And Wikipedia, as you turn, you see in a beautiful black gown, blending in with the shadows so you can't, there's no way to tell how long it is. A woman towers in the forest with a gleaming silver crown with black gems going all around it.
The woman I was just chasing after.
The woman you were just chasing after. She says, "You have made a pact with the Seelie Court, but this is the simplest of pacts, one made for stewards or pages. There's so much more to offer." And you see she holds out a hand, beckoning in. Instead of just the blade, I could offer you a name. To the Fae, there's nothing more important than a name. Your identity, unique, beautiful, powerful. But in taking this name, you accept it with a price. Status in the Unseelie Court comes with responsibility. A role within our pack. Welcoming a name agrees to undertaking our hardest battles. Ones that there can be no witnesses for. Not even you. I can grant you boundless power. And in exchange for your endless servitude, I will give you an endless life of wonder and adventure. You will stay forever young, forever excited to explore, and forever enthused by the next challenge. You will never tire, you will never grow bored, and the fruits of your labor will keep our clan satisfied. You will go on my greatest adventures, Wikipedia. And when you're done, you will wake up just as you were before and begin again. Without any pain, without any commitment, without any trauma. You'll be free to confront every adventure as if it was your first. Do you accept the terms of this position?
Yes. Yes.
Then, as you fulfill your dark purpose with unending zeal and determination, you will henceforth be named Black Bee, and the words Black Bee echo through the forest. From now until the end of time. We jump back to a snowy port where chunks of ice bob up against the docks, where icicles hang from the decks of ships, but crews begin to load supplies, begin to don heavier coats, and begin to prepare for a icy journey.
I'm going to follow where the wind is continually pushing me up and onto the docks towards a large ship that seems to be getting ready to depart any moment. The ship looks fairly new compared to, all the surrounding ships that are in sight. It's waving 3 dark flags that don't really mean anything to me yet, but I'm hopeful to find out soon. And people are quickly but calmly moving boxes and barrels on and off the ship, and I look around for a guy in charge and pick out a stocky man with a thick beard and a large black hat with this white feather that hangs down to his shoulder. And I approach him and I say, "Excuse me, sir. Your ship is beautiful. I'm hoping to find some adventure. Do you need any spare hands on board? I can help cook, I can clean." And I pull out my dagger and spin it in my finger to turn into a pistol. And I'm a pretty good shot.
This captain kind of chuckles as he sees your little trick and goes, "That is pretty neat. Have you ever worked on a ship before?"
No, sir, but I promise I'm a fast learner.
"Well, I like fast learners. I like people that can do little tricks like that. Welcome aboard."
Thank you, sir. And I weave through the crew, boarding and unboarding the ship, making my way onto the boat. And I lean over the side of the ship, just taking in the smells of the salt water that kind of sting in my eyes a little bit. And the wind tussles my hair in approval, and I smile. Lately I've been craving that approval just a little more each day. It fills me with this sense of pride that I didn't quite have in Aramore, a sense of purpose and meaning. And when the crew settles down, I'll introduce myself and slowly make myself acquainted with the rest of the ship. And as the ship pulls out, I lean back over the same edge and I just take in the beauty of the town as the lanterns are beginning to lit and just reflect into the water.
Looking out off the ship, you can see that the boat's currently moving past little chunks of ice in this little river inlet, and you're moving past mountains and little sections of forest, and peeking out behind a snow-covered pine is a young girl, no older than 12, not wearing any shoes, with a yellow bandana tied around her head. And as she peeks out, she's kind of collecting berries or doing a little something with her hands. She looks around and she notices your boat, and she kind of begins to wave, and then she looks directly at you, and her wave becomes rapid and faster.
I think I look behind me and notice that she is indeed waving at me, and I give a small, little curious wave back.
She finishes her wave, gives you a deep, almost borderline and mockingly deep curtsy as she bows her head, and then runs off into the forest.
I think the ship just continues to move towards the horizon, and I'm just feeling so excited to begin a brand new adventure. And so, Wicked Weatherby, aka Blackbee, warlock and servant of the Unseelie Court, will continue on yet another iteration of life to both find new wonders and to please the Queen of Air and Darkness with undying loyalty.
With that, we close the book on Wicked Weatherby. We move to maybe a different place in time. Maybe no one can say whether it's forward or back, but certainly to a different place. Coming back to Tawny, Aubrey, walk us through what happens to our warrior Drew.
So, Tawny spends the rest of her 30 years upon the material plane ensuring that all of the wrongs caused by Croesus Callum are righted. The changes she makes, like what she did with Ethra and the Red Wizards of Thay, stay intact. And generally, the never-ending job of stopping shit from going off the rails. Basically, Tawny has a very busy 30 years. But when her glorious time as a warrior Droog is up, she returns to the Grey Peak Mountains once more. There, she is greeted by Senna, her niece, coming down from Drukgyal. And finally, for Tawny, the passing of the Scepter of Dame occurs, and Tana the Fierce returns once more to her homelands. This time, when she reaches the kingdom of the Drooks, Tana is met with fanfare. A warrior Droog's return means royal celebrations, balls, festivals, partying in the streets and the skies. And for once, in Tawny's time as the warrior Droog, it goes exactly as it's supposed to. Exactly how she imagined all those years ago before embarking on this mission. During this celebration, Tawny reunites with Ren, who I think,
Tell us more.
after seeing her, Tawny's ridiculously hot and traumatic scene 30 years prior when, you know, she killed her father, but like really powerfully and like really hotly, you know. Tawny always looks
Everyone
good.
still talks about it.
She looked good killing her father, okay?
Not everyone can say that.
Any relationship that Ren might have sustained over the time that Tawny was gone, whether with Esme or anyone else, was always a placeholder for a certain irreplaceable, cocky lightning dragon. No, but I think in the end, Tawny spends the next few years in a somewhat awkward state, like Ren had always wondered about, because she is no longer the active warrior Droog. But I think also in this gap of time where she doesn't have these like duties and responsibilities upon her, it's filled with her life with Ren. And while their relationship when they were younger was surrounded by the idea of Tawny chasing her destiny and eventually leaving, and that was always a big part of their relationship, now there's a deeper, as domestic as you can get for who Tawny is, connection between them. A type of settling, peaceful, rest after the storm. During this time, Lona, Tawny's nephew and who's Tawny's sister Fauna's other child, is reigned king, and eventually will go on to have two little twin boys, Lordrum and Callum, in honor of the real Callum. While there was a good bit of mystery during Tawny's time as warrior Droog between Lona and Senna, the children of Fauna, in which one would end up fulfilling the role, which one would become king or queen, which one would be warrior Drook. It is clear immediately that little Callum shares that passionate drive and strength to become the warrior Drook. And as little Callum grows, he becomes attached to Tawny, his great aunt. And Tawny fulfills that role of being a mentor and guide to little Callum like she always wished for. They train a lot. And as Callum takes the family heritage of purple coloring when he's in his dragon form, he is a much darker shade of purple. Some might say a midnight violet, if you will. And often talks grow throughout Drukgyal of a large purple lightning dragon, always sparking in power, and her little shadow. Eventually, little Callum reaches 21 in age, and 30 years have passed since Sana's departure. And with a large, joyous coronation, the dark purple dragon is sent off to the material plane to fulfill his own destiny. By now, Ren's blonde hair has become white, and Tawny and her wife reach old age for Drooks. And eventually, Ren passes peacefully higher into the skies. Tawny, however, isn't showing age quite as strongly as others would. And while the Drook Galapo line is known for their longer lifespans compared to the other Drooks because of the power of Drookyals that runs through their veins, our dragon seems to be on a much longer path. Something with the way she demanded power back during her transformation along Tamokor's shores into the warrior Drook. Something about her state of holding on to both the dragon and mortal form so tightly makes it different for her. And so, on the day of Ren's wake, after she buries her wife into the stone of Drukgyal, who lived a long and happy life together, Tawny sets off once more into the skies. Rumor will take, with Callum's return, of what might have happened to the warrior who did not age, of a certain purple lightning and force that watched over Callum's exchange of the Scepter of Dalme with his successor, and that dragon appearing again for the exchange after that, and the one after that, and the one after that. Legend holds that an ancient dragon still roams the material plane, a watchful eye across the lands that travel far and wide, from Waterdeep to Stonefall Scatter, from great lands and cities to tiny villages, from Flan to Aramor, the dragon flies.
As this ancient dragon soars over the realm, she could also hear legends spread across the land. Tales of a mythical pirate ship that sails these waters, one not bound to the waves, one with an unseelie servant who's explored every corner of the map, with a captain with more magic than the mages of Thay, with a warrior who could call upon the storms themselves, a deserter who never made his date with the gallows, a cutthroat who could beat the best in a duel, a devil with a trick always up his sleeve, and a Neil who let only the wind in his heart steer his ship. But this be the tale of pirates, so legendary that those who sail the 12 seas still revere their name. The Black Bee, so committed to adventure that she roamed the waves for all of time. The Eternal Pirate, a corsair so chaotic and successful that every sailor and seafarer still knows his name. And the Warrior Druk, her purple lightning forever a symbol of their timeless protection to the realm. And so ends our tale of the Gilded Voyage. But fret not, although this may be the end of Kildak, Wikipedia, and Tana. Their spirits are far from gone. I suspect that if you stick around long enough, you'll be able to find parts of them that creep up in new worlds and in new adventures. But those are stories for another day. For now, finish your glass, and until we meet again over another round at the Four Rings Inn. Cheers.
Woo.
That is a wrap